We're back here on the Baseball Digest Show. Joining me today is Jay Berman from MLB.com. Jay's a good buddy. We've done a lot of stuff together, and really one of the guys that I think really has a real strong grasp of what's going on in Major League Baseball. You know, Jay, last winter meetings, I remember calling in when Jason Worth signed that ridiculous contract. Carl Crawford gets his contract from the Red Sox. I don't think we're going to see, even though the names are big, I'm not sure if we're going to see any crazy deals like that this winter.
I don't know. You're certainly going to see it from Pujols and Fielder, but I don't think they're the same kind of player, so you can't really judge it. Recently, there's been a lot of interest in Jose Reyes. He's sort of been courted by many teams. That might be the one that comes out with a $120 million 8-year deal, something in the Worth, Crawford, neighborhood. Other than Reyes, obviously, as we said, we expect it from Fielder, we expect it from Pujols. Reyes could be the linchpin in all of this, and once Reyes goes, then I think you'll see a lot of other guys go as well.
And I think that one really important thing the Yankees did was to make sure that their big-ticket guy, CC Sabathia, was not only locked up, but they got him to not opt out of the contract, saving them, I think, a considerable amount of money. You take him out of the deal, I'm sure the Players Association wasn't too happy about that.
Right.
And the fact that there's really no big-ticket pitchers that are available this winter. Does that mean that CJ is going to get, in your opinion, an inflated deal because of that? Or are all these guys, Edwin Jackson, Mark Burley, Roy Oswalt, going to get more, I guess, modest deals from the teams that are looking for pitching?
No, I think it's right place, right time. With C.J. Wilson, I think he could get close to $100 million because at this point in time, not only is he a lefty, but he's the best pitcher out there. And I think, like we said, it's right place, right time. C.J. Wilson is a free agent when Halladay is a free agent, when Sabathia is a free agent. He's not going until February or March. C.J. Wilson right now, I think we all have to agree, is probably the best free agent pitcher right there, out there. He's going to get 80, 90, maybe $100 million.
You think about the money that's going to be spent. We talk about, people have talked about collusion in the past. And when I look at some of these big market teams that are not going to be able to spend big money, the Yankees, maybe they get one more big ticket guy. I don't see them really getting involved in the bidding for, let's say, a Jose Reyes. The Dodgers, they have their hands full just trying to figure out what their situation is. Plus, they have to figure out a way to extend the contracts of Clayton Kershaw and Matt Kemp. So when you factor in these are two big market teams, the Mets are just an absolute mess. They're not going to spend any money. You think about these big market teams that aren't going to get in the mix, I think that's going to keep prices down.
It certainly will. And it's funny how with Pujols and with Fielder, you figure when there's a big slugging first baseman out there, what two teams does he want involved to jack up the price every year? It's the Yankees and the Red Sox. Now, the Yankees and the Red Sox do not need first basemen. So it'll be interesting to see if that affects exactly what Pujols and Fielder will get. I don't think it will, because I think teams like the Cubs and even teams willing to spend money like the Nationals, maybe even the Marlins with a new ballpark, will overpay for these types of players.
I think that ultimately what we're going to see is, we're seeing a fundamental change in the way, just to end this segment on a down note. Sorry, Mets fans, but basically Sandy Alderson has been told he has no money, and the idea that the New York Mets are, basically going to be they're basically going to be running their team like a small market team has to. Basically, they've said we're not going to spend money unless our revenues go up. How can the revenues go up when you've got a $90 million payroll in the media capital of the world?
I said it right away when they hired both Alderson and Terry Collins. They will not be those guys will not be the general manager and manager respectively when the Mets win. And those guys are there to clean up the mess. And for Met fans to suggest or think that it's anything but that, I'm telling you, you're wrong. They're there to right the ship. It's sort of started. They're there to fix the problem, plural, and when the next guy comes in, the next general manager, the next manager will be in charge of the Mets. Those will be the guys that win if the Mets do.
He's Jay Berman from MLB.com. I'm Mark Healy. More Baseball Digest show after this. Welcome to the last segment here on the Baseball Digest show. It's called Last Licks, and it's called Last Licks for a reason, because I get an opportunity to get stuff off my chest. Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm not. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not happy. I'm not happy because Major League Baseball, for some reason, put in place a policy in 1999 that major league clubs had to interview minority candidates for its managerial openings and any other front office openings that came up during the course of the season. In particular, the lack of African Americans getting opportunities over the years. Has it gotten better? Yes. But this offseason has been absolutely disgraceful. You've had 5 managerial openings: Oakland, the Chicago White Sox, the St. Louis Cardinals, the Boston Red Sox, and none of these teams have interviewed an African American for an open position. And that, it's not like there's any lack of qualified candidates. You've got Bo Porter, Washington Nationals, third base coach, tremendous, tremendous individual. He's gotten some opportunities to interview before, not this offseason. The Oakland Athletics felt that the immortal Bob Melvin, and no disrespect to Bob, but Bob's had more than a few chances to get his, to get his World Series ring. Hasn't happened. That's because Bob Melvin just not that good of a manager. Yet not only was he given a 3-year deal with Oakland without so much as any interview, but Major League Baseball basically indicated that it was fine with their selection process, okay? Again, the Chicago White Sox, the fact that they have an African-American general manager does not absolve them from the fact that they did not make any attempt to interview an African-American candidate. The fact that Ken Williams is an African-American general manager does not absolve him from having to go through the process. And again, I've had people tell me, first of all, not one major sports writer has said to me, you're right, Mark, you're right. It is a disgrace that not one African-American has been interviewed. Willie Randolph won one division title in 3 years, hasn't gotten a second chance. Bob Melvin, what has Bob Melvin accomplished that he gets a 3-year deal without anybody getting, even an interview there? The Chicago White Sox, Robert Ventura, who hasn't managed a day in his life anywhere, all of a sudden now, because he was a Chicago White Sox legend, here's a guy, he's not going to the Hall of Fame, but he gets a job without an interview for an African-American managerial candidate. If Jackie Robinson were alive today, I think he would say, it's great that everybody wears my jersey number on Jackie Robinson Day, but it would be nice if you could, perhaps give some justice to my legacy by interviewing an African-American managerial candidate.